If I get one more LinkedIn message that ends with, would you like to schedule a free demo, or would you like a product tour, or would you like to hear more about my product or service? The infamy of not even saying really hello to me or trying to figure out who I am or understand what I would possibly need your payroll service for. I'm just going to discuss something that occurred to me today. I went to a small business expo and it used to be a good networking event, but this year, not so much. It was basically within 3 hours I left. And the reason why is because I guess I have a misconception about networking, or maybe I'm the right one and the other 99% are wrong. I go there because I want to meet people and see how, if there's a way they could help me or how I could help them. It's really not just about selling something. And that's my point. Take LinkedIn as an example. This is most likely going to be posted on LinkedIn. And the fact is, and I'm sure most of you can agree, you've received a scripted email that just says hello name, discusses an immediate jump into a hard sale, and then ends with, and tell me just like if you've heard one of these at the end of a scripted message that you know is scripted. Would you like to schedule a demo? Would you like to book time for a call? Would you like to see a product tour? So on and so forth. I know I'm not going to get any likes, but the fact is, this isn't just ineffective. And that's why this video is really me saying sales is kind of dead, in my opinion. At this expo I was at, I never got a chance to even get the person's name or understand what they could offer me other than what they're selling or what their product or service they're trying to pitch to me. There was one individual who made it very clear that sales, to me at least, and I think in general, is almost dead. And if not dead, it needs to be dead. At the expo, they give you little stickers, so you put like marketing or creative designer or something like that. And I guess he singled me out. I handed out about 200 business cards, and I ended up on 200 email newsletters. I'm still getting spam from last year. This year I only handed out 50, and I guarantee you I'm going to hear from all 50 probably by tomorrow, and they're going to keep following up until I just tell them screw out, like I always do. This guy singled me out. He sold life insurance. I'm 36, going on 37. He approached, and I shook his hand, and I was thinking, hey, here's a nice guy. You know, his name was, I already forgot the name. That's kind of the point. If you can't even remember the person's name, chances are they didn't give the right impression. I think it was Cool Beer, because he said it was Cool Beer, Kulbir, but he said, next time you drink a cold beer, you'll think of me, which in retrospect, now saying it out loud, it's kind of creepy. Now, every time I drink a cold beer, I'm going to think of this creepy life insurance salesman. And he approached and said, okay, well, I specialize in your niche. I kind of looked at him and said, what do you mean, my niche? I'm digital marketing, behavior consulting. How could I be a niche for life insurance? And he just kind of stared. And it was a staring contest for about 5 seconds. And neither of us moved. It was weird, awkward. I was kind of just staring him in the eyes, and he was staring at mine. And it was almost like he was waiting for me to consider the idea of actually buying life insurance from a guy who just claims that he has a niche in marketers. I didn't know marketers had a expected, age range or something like that. I'm sorry, I'm not young, but I'm not old. I don't need life insurance, and I don't need it from someone who can just walk up to anyone and just say, hey, I specialize in your niche. That's like me saying I specialize in digital marketing. That's all I do. So anyway, back to the original rant. Sales, we need to start looking at this differently. It's amazing because this advice is not new. We need to start realizing that 99% of the time, if you're not hearing back from someone on LinkedIn, it's because your first message failed. And second, if you follow up 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, you don't hear from the person, they always say keep following up. The average number of touch points it takes to reach a prospect is 7, 8. Most people do about 3 touch points, and then they'll end with that sad last message. Oh, I guess you're not interested. If you're ever interested, get back to me, and then you never hear from them again. Number one, sales really is a long game. But by long, I don't mean 7, 8 touch points or 7 messages on LinkedIn. No, it's about building the actual relationship. And it's also not about selling a product or service. Sales, and this is just based on 18 years of experience, it has nothing to do with selling anything. If you do things right, people won't even be sure you were trying to sell them something. And the best advice I could give is if you're going to do a cold outreach or do some sort of sales cold email kind of campaign or go on LinkedIn and spam people, don't use a script. Don't use some long generic message with just one personalized item. I mentioned that they work in my industry or specialize in marketers, and I've had people get my name wrong on LinkedIn, which is kind of weird because you'd think that they would be able to spell Ryan, Ryan. I've even gotten scripted messages where it shows the merge tag in the parentheses with the underscore. And if you're going to go ahead and sell something, realize something. It's not about trying to sell a product or a service. You're trying to give them enough information and free information. This is a very good strategy a lot of people miss out on. If you can give your best advice away for free, they will come back to you 9 out of 10 times. They will come back to you because they'll know that one, you provided them value. 2, you didn't try to sell them something. 3, they now know that you know what you're talking about. They want to learn more. That's where you get the higher ticket sale. Number 3, we need to redefine networking. It's not about selling. It's not about trying to get someone's business card. That's always great, yes, but I really don't care if I see your business card, I'm not going to remember you unless you leave an impression. So let's look at it this way. Networking is not just about building a relationship to make a sale. It's just about mutual connection. I think we lost touch with that at some point, and we need to start going back to our roots and realizing that networking is really just a social experience to see how people can help each other out. I remember back in 2012 when I first started my company, it was a video game design studio, and I was at a small networking event, 15, 20 people, kind of in a bar at night downtown Miami. And basically, I was there for the sole purpose of looking for people to collaborate with because they were in the industry too. That collaboration led us to launch an app and then a game. And no, not wildly successful. I was young and I didn't know what I was doing, but that is really not the ultimate purpose of network. The point of networking is not to make a sale, not to get to the point where you have warmed them up and asked enough questions, because people recognize sales tactics. It's like going to Best Buy and seeing the Best Buy shirt and thinking that that person maybe doesn't work there. That person just happens to dress like the man who feeds Curious George in that yellow shirt. You know it's a salesman, and you know if they come up to you and they say this is the best product ever. I'm going to backtrack a little bit. There are some people, more than I'd like to believe, who actually do fall for those scripted sales messages and the generic one, but I'm trying to speak to the 50% who are experiencing sales fatigue, where you're just sending out message after message. Really what you need to be doing is giving away your free content, giving away your best advice, building a relationship, and seeing if there's something they could do for you or that you could do for them. Not a monetary purchase, not a sale, not a demo, not a scheduled call. No, scheduled call, that makes sense. Just immediately into that hard sale. Not even warming them up, not even going through the series of touch points or follow-ups. To qualify that lead, know that there's someone who would actually need your insurance salesman. I don't need a life insurance salesman. I'm 36. So if that person had taken time at this networking event to understand that I'm not a 70-year-old man, then he probably wouldn't have wasted 5 minutes of his time and my time. So point being, we need to redefine the way sales works. We need to redefine the way networking works. And we need to go back to the old school way of doing things, which was shake hands, introduce yourself, and have a conversation. Don't try to sell. Don't lead toward a sale. If you do things right, you will have them come to you. Thank you guys. Take care.